super excited for our speaker today, Brindley Tucker. She is going to share mastering the emotions of prospecting. And I think that I heard a statistic from, I think it was Pipes, that 90% of the decisions are emotional decisions. I know it is for me, right? What's that saying? Facts tell, emotions sell. So, man, how about, we're waiting for Brindley to show up. How about a couple of wins for the week? Anybody have some wins? I know Steve McCarthy, you're doing amazing. You're hitting 100% of all of your goals, daily goals every day, right? Steve, what do you attribute your success?
Not wanting to pay for Tom to have a nice dinner with Renee. That's keeping me on track last 2 days.
Accountability, right?
That's right, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Brindley Tucker, how are you?
Hi, guys. Hello.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, for any of you that don't know Brindley, there may be only one of you that doesn't know Brindley. She's coach. She's top realtor. She owns Leverage Realty, and she just is amazing. So Brindley, can you share a little bit about yourself, and then let's just jump into our content today?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Brindley Tucker. I am a licensed realtor. I have been for about 12 years. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Steve. Hi, Russell. Hi, Amir. Hi, Brett. Hi, Patrick. Hi, Douglas. Hi, Kurt. Hi, James. Everyone else. If you can join us on screen, please do. There's no judgment. If you saw me from the waist down, you wouldn't judge me either. So I'm just so glad to be here today. So 12 years in the industry. I often tell folks I've closed over 2,000 real estate transactions in a year, but I've never sold a house. So how is that possible? I have always been on the operations side of the business. I've worked with some of the top teams in the country around scaling, leverage, team building. I'm also a master practitioner in NLP, if anyone's ever heard of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is debunking the limiting beliefs that hold us back from reaching our true ceilings and breaking through the ceilings to achievement. And I now run a team of about 18, and we service realtors. So I wanted there to be a space where agents could get any type of leverage they needed without being held hostage in their businesses. So we built an a la carte model where agents can come and get everything from fractional support, which is transaction management, listing management, marketing, per hour EAs, and then hiring, training, and then also coaching and consulting. So we are building a model where we can just support agents at any point in their business, and that's it. So that's what I love doing. I love helping agents go from being realtors to being business owners through team building, scalability, and leverage.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, in this market right now, I think the more conversations that we have, then the more successful that we're going to be. But there's also emotions that are involved with that. And I don't know if they're emotions or excuses. So Brindley, I saw one of your podcasts. You have so many podcasts and great YouTube videos. I just wanted to steal a little bit out of your playbook so you could share with our organization mastering the emotions of prospecting.
Mm-hmm. So thank you, Tom. And I do have some slides I'll pull up here in a minute just for reference. So about 2 weeks ago, I was on the phone with a coaching client and we were talking about lead generation. And I got off the call and I called 5 of the top lead generators that I know in the country. The first person I called was actually 2 individuals that you know very well, Nick Baldwin and Tristan Ahmad, who run Lab Coat Agents. They're also both EXP agents, and they know a little bit about marketing and leads, right? They run the biggest Facebook group on social media for realtors. I called an indie out of Arizona who is Zillow's #1 acquisition partner. Zillow actually offices in their office. They do about 3,500 transactions a year. I called another team in in Salt Lake City that I know the COO, who basically tracks everything under the moon. Like, I think he even tracks like how often and for how long he goes to the bathroom. I mean, he's a data freak. He's one of those engineers that literally, like, you ask him anything and he knows the numbers. And then I also called someone that used to work for Ylopo, that now runs a luxury real estate team out of Palm Springs, California. And all of these individuals said the same thing. The days of low-hanging fruit are over. They're over. We're going to have to go back to top of funnel, which means we have to go back into our databases. Now, there's good news about that and there's bad news about that. The good news is that the low-hanging fruit, the conversion on low-hanging fruit, Patrick, is only about 2 to 3%. The conversion on your database is 90%. So I always pose the question, Doug, I ask myself, why are we so quick to go after the 2 to 3% conversion versus the 90% conversion? And that's all psychology. We would rather be rejected by people we don't know than rejected by people we do. And that is 100% why the majority of us will continue to chase 2-3% conversion versus 90. And so there's a couple things that we have to think about going into this market this season, right? I believe it's going to be a very different season. I'm talking to a lot of high net worth financial advisors about the economy. I believe that we are going to have one of the most historic elections that's going to happen here in the next year, that is going to really determine where the future of our country is going to go economically, where it's going to go politically. There's a lot of unknown right now. There's a lot of fear in the world, and it's our job to get information, the most accurate information out to our databases. It's also a great time for people to invest in real estate and for us to empower them with the knowledge that they need in order to save on taxes, in order to put additional W-2 income into investments. Like, there's a massive opportunity here if we choose to look at it that way. And so I just wanted for a second to pull up some psychology, and then I want to go through a kind of a referral conversation that I've been having with a lot of agents that I think will help. So if I may share my screen, Tom. I mentioned that I am a master practitioner in neuro-linguistic programming. So anytime I'm going to talk about psychology, emotion, mental, limiting beliefs, any of that, I'm going to show this slide. Russell, W-2 income is going to be anyone that has a full-time job. So any of your clients that have jobs where they receive W-2 income, a lot of them are going to start asking where to put money. And there's a lot of deals that are going to come on the market as we get wonky in pricing. Now, those of you that are in California, which I know a majority of you are, you're like in the planet Jupiter when it comes to selling real estate. So some of that might not apply to your local market, right, Sarah? I see that smile. So you might want to kind of look in that. What I'm saying is when their W-2 income increases, so there's a lot of layoffs happening around the country, which is also allowing people to go back and increase their W-2 income because they're doing more work because layoffs are happening. And people want to pay less taxes on W-2 income. A great way to pay less taxes on W-2 income is to take your income and pour it into real estate investments. So it's knowing enough to help them figure out creative ways to get financing for investment properties, Airbnbs, because as the market shifts, the prices go down and deals start to happen. And there are people out there that have money. A lot of them sometimes just aren't educated on how they can save on taxes by investing in real estate. And if you're not, there's a couple great books on this subject. You can follow the Bigger Pockets podcast, which is all about investing. That's David Green. He's also out of California. There's a great book called Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright. That'll teach you a little bit about the code. And then he also wrote this book, which is the Win-Win Wealth Strategy, 7 investments the government will pay you to make. So just, there are creative ways there. I won't go too much into that today, but this is the kind of thing you want to start kind of studying, is the non-traditional ways to make money inside real estate, our industry. So this is how the brain works. you have two parts to your brain. You have the conscious mind, which is the captain of the ship. That's the goal getter. That's the goal setter. That's the part of your brain that you say, I want to go this way, it takes you this way. You say, I want to net $500,000 in real estate this year. That's your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is the goal setter. It's the captain of the ship. It's what directs you and makes sure that you're going in the right direction. The unconscious mind is the crew of the ship. That's the underbelly. That's the part of the ship that you don't even know what they're doing, right? You don't even know what's happening. You're sitting there watching the show on the third deck, and you have no idea what's keeping the air conditioning on or why you're still moving in the ocean in the dead of night. That's the goal getter. So a great way that I explain this is on January 1st, a lot of the people in our country are like, I'm going to lose 50 pounds this year. I'm going to eat like a rabbit. I'm going to do a 75 hard. I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. And in January, they're doing great. In February, they're okay. And then what do the gyms look like in March? It's crickets, right? Their conscious mind, Patrick, is saying, I want to lose 50 pounds, but their unconscious mind is sitting on the couch eating bonbons and back in the chips and not at the gym, right? When your conscious mind and your unconscious mind don't meet, there's baggage. There's baggage. Now, the good news is that your unconscious mind has two jobs. Number one, to keep you alive. And number two, to give you what you want. So here's what happens. All day long, things are happening. Our brains receive 2 million bits of information per second. 2 million bits. It can only process, and it receives this through our visual, our auditory, our kinesthetic, which is our touch, our olfactory, which is our smell, and our gustatory, which is our taste. So through your 5 sensory organs, your brain, think of it as a CPU. It's inputting 2 million bits of information into your brain. It can only process 126 bits. So in the matter of a second, your brain has to take 2 million bits of information and decide which 126 it's going to process to give you what you need or keep you alive. Things are happening all around us. All around us. Have you ever watched a movie and then watched it again for a second time? And when you watched it the second time, you said to yourself, I don't remember that from the first movie, from the first time I watched this. Has anybody ever had that happen? Steve, I see you nodding your head. Yeah. Did the movie change? No, it's the same movie. Your 126 bits changed. So how does your brain do this? Well, it does it through deleting the information. I don't need it. It's not serving me right now. Distorting it into what it will serve you, or generalizing it, red stop sign, put it in a bucket. I know what that is. I know to stop. I don't even have to think about it. Now, how does our unconscious mind get programmed to know, or where does the baggage, I should say, come from? Most of your core belief system is formed by the age of 7. 99% of your unconscious mind, which just makes you go because you know, is formed by the age of 25. And how does that happen? And you can raise your virtual hand under the on the menu, or just raise your real hand because I can see a lot of you. How many of you have kids under the age of 7? Anybody? Okay, I see one, Brett. This is what we call the imprint phase. This is why we say kids are like sponges. We just soak in all the information. For the first 7 years of our lives, we're just trying to figure it all out. If I touch that stove, it's hot. If I go outside, I get wet when it rains. We're just literally soaking everything in. We're learning everything that our parents are showing us, our teachers, our experiences. It's why we say kids are like sponges. How many of you have children between the ages of 7 and 14? All right, a lot of you. This is called the modeling phase. Sorry, mom and dad, but at this point in their lives, they are learning that they've learned everything they can from you, and now they're going to go model the behavior of their peers. So they go to school and they see Susie, who's really popular, or Johnny that all the girls like, and they're like, ooh, I want to be like Johnny. He does this. I've never seen that. And so now their programming starts to move into this modeling phase where they're modeling the behavior of their peers to learn. I tell parents who have children during this time frame, be careful who they're spending the night with. Just because they have a white picket fence and a golden doodle doesn't mean that they have the same values and they're having the same conversations that you would around your children at the dinner table. This is a huge imperative time where they're surrounded by children that model the behavior you want in your children. And then do any of you have children between the ages of 14 and 21? All right, I see a lot of hands there too. God bless you for those that raised your hand the last time and this time. You're in a fun stage of life. So 14 to 21 is what we call the relationship phase. Now hormones are starting to flourish and they're starting to go into maturity in some ways. And now we are learning intimacy, teamwork, partnership, relationships. If you don't believe anything I just said, I will be your case study. When I was 18 years old, my uncle was murdered. He was shot through a bedroom window, and I actually had to clean the home up that it happened in. 6 months later, my grandparents divorced after 48 years of marriage. I'm 43 years old. My longest relationship has been 7 years, which was a dumpster fire of a relationship. And my second longest relationship has been about a year, and he also passed away. I've never been engaged. I've been engaged once, never married, and I haven't been in a relationship since that dumpster fire relationship in my 20s. The reason being is that I always associated relationships and marriage with death or divorce, because during my relationship phase is when my grandparents' marriage, the only epitome of marriage that I had in my life, fell apart because of the death of my uncle. So to me, why would I get married? They all end in death or divorce. So why am I sharing all of this with you? I'm sharing all of this with you because how you were programmed in these first 21 years of life is how your unconscious mind is showing up in your business and in your activities and preventing you from getting to the next level. Now, why is that? Because your unconscious mind doesn't know situation. Your unconscious mind only knows negative emotion. And what it knows is that when it feels the same negative emotion that it felt during those programming years, it's going to go into fight, flight, freeze, or please. It goes into a danger, danger. There's a negative feeling. I need to get them out of here. But it doesn't know what's causing that negative emotion. It only knows the feeling of the emotion. That's a trigger. Right? When we call it, we label it different things. We label it trigger, we label it negative emotion. There's all sorts of things that you could call it. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so what does that mean? That means that when you sit down to prospect or lead generate and you're getting rejected, or you're in fear of getting rejected, or you don't want to call, your unconscious mind immediately goes negative emotion, uncomfortability, fear, danger, danger. I got to get them out of here. What am I going to do if they can barely handle the business they have? Their kids don't know what they look like. Their partner hasn't seen them. If they lead generate, they're going to get more business, then I can't protect them. I can't protect them. And remember, your unconscious mind's whole job is to keep you alive and give you what you want. So it goes into a protection mode. So what do we have? What does that mean? That means that your brain is always going to look for an exit when you're uncomfortable or there's a negative emotion. And so what you have to do is you have to close the exit doors. You have to tell your mind that you don't need its protection. You needed it when you were 10, but you don't need it now. And you have to close the exit doors. No, we're going to fight through the uncomfortability until it's comfortable, because we know that we must get through this, because by lead generating, this is going to provide opportunity for our family. So there is an assessment. I'm going to put it in the chat. It's called the Saboteurs Assessment. If you go to positiveintelligence.com, it is a assessment that will actually, I've done a lot of assessments in my life, a lot of assessments. I'm owner hiring firm. We do assessments all the time. And these assessments are great, but they've never told me, they tell me what I think, what I behave, but they never tell me why. They never say, here's why you think this way. Here's why this shows up. Well, this one does. This one actually tells you the original survival function of your self-sabotaging behavior. So I'm going to put the link in the chat and I'll give you an example. One of your saboteurs could be that you're a pleaser. Now, a pleaser is programmed to please, possibly in childhood, if they had a mom and dad, that dad works all day, mom was the homemaker, right? Mom would work at home, take care of the kids all day, and all she wanted was for husband to come home, say thank you, say I love you, and acknowledge her. And husband would come home from work every day, say thank you, eat his dinner, and then go to the couch. So you learned, in order to receive love, I must please. That was your programming. Watching your mother earn dad's love by pleasing. And therefore, then you were programmed to be a pleaser. Does that make sense? There's also a controller. But what this assessment does is it tells you what the saboteur, what the self-sabotaging behavior is, how it's going to show up for you and others, and then what the original survival function was. So it'll explain to you what happened in those first 7 years of your life that caused that self-sabotaging behavior to come up. And I simply just say to my 10-year-old self, I don't need your help today. I don't need to be protected. Everything is going to be okay. And that's the psychology. That's the psychology. Now, I want to go back to the lead generation conversation, because something else that has come up a lot is that we're asking a lot of, when we're asking for referrals, when we're talking to people about wanting to buy, sell, or invest, we're asking right now questions that are giving us right now answers. Meaning, Steve, are you interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate right now?
I think I am.
Most people are going to say what they feel in that moment, right? They're going to ask, and if they're not right now thinking about buying, selling, or investing, what is their question? What is their answer going to be? No. Right? If you ask someone, Tom, do you know anyone right now that wants to buy, sell, or invest?
No.
What are they going to think of? They're most likely going to say no, because they can't think of anybody on the spot that they know of that wants to buy, sell, or invest. If you ask a right now question, you're going to get a right now answer. The way that I believe we need to be structuring these conversations is, number one, we need to be debunking anything they are thinking about the market. And we have to do that by asking, how are you viewing the real estate market right now? What are your thoughts on the real estate market? Do you know what equity you have in your home? Do you know what it would look like if you sell your home versus rent your home? What is your 3-year dream in real estate, or your 5-year dream? If you could pick out your next perfect house, what would it look like? And then we go into the referral conversation. And I think this is really important. Instead of just asking, your goal should always be to get each person in your database to refer you 2 pieces of business. And then you have the multiple of 2s, right? That one person refers 2, and then those 2 each refer 2. Now you're at 4. Those 4 each refer 2, and now you're in a multiples of 2. That's your goal, is to get every single person in your database to refer you to people that will buy, sell, or invest with you, or that you can put into your database.
I want to just pause real quick. I'm sorry. These are writer downers. All of you should be writing these down. And I have my little recorder on my phone. Turn on your recorder. This is big. Okay. Back to you, Brindley. Go ahead. And
then we need to do a few things when it comes to referrals. Number one, we need to explain why referrals are important. A lot of our clients don't know that referrals are the lifeblood of our business, and they don't know why. So we need to explain why referrals are important. I want to work with people that I know, like, and trust. I want to work with people that are like you. Most likely you surround yourself with people that are like you. And I want to work with people like you. It's also, there's a lot of people that have gotten into real estate in the last few years that don't know what they're doing, and they're screwing up deals all over the place. And I want to make sure your friends and family are protected, that they have somebody that knows what they're doing on their side. So explaining why the referrals are important. Then number two, explaining to them how to identify a referral. A lot of them don't know what to look for. They don't know to look for people whose kids are going to college and they may be downsizing. They don't know that you can help someone that's going through a divorce. They don't know that you can help someone whose parent just passed away. So you've got to kind of explain and educate them, Brett, on how to look for a referral for you. What does a referral look like? What are the things you need to listen for? Dividends, stock, inheritance, right? What we talked about earlier around, people that come upon, buttloads of cash that they don't want to pay taxes on. So now what you're doing is you're creating a mini sales force for yourself out there through your SOI. So number one, explain why they're important. Number two, explain how to identify them. And then number three, explain how to make the introduction. Everyone is different, Douglas. Some people are fine just giving you people's name and number and making an introduction. Some people, Brett, want to be anonymous. They don't want people to know that they're giving their name and number. So Patrick, you just want to educate on how they can pass that referral along to you and how you will handle that referral with care. So why are referrals important? How do we identify them? And how do we make an introduction? But here's the secret sauce. The fourth step to this process is you're going to turn around and have the same conversation with them. Hey, Sarah, what do you do for a living? Are referrals important in your business? Awesome. Tell me why.
I
Right?
found 118
My
matches.
Siri thought that I said
Could you be
Siri,
more
not Sarah.
specific?
And then you're going to ask them, okay, how do I identify a referral for you? How do I make an introduction of a referral for you? Now you're creating a referral partner. Now, Kurt, if they say, I don't need referrals, awesome. I have a database and a network of individuals. I can refer you pretty much anyone. If you're looking for a chiropractor, a babysitter, a lawn guy, I've got tons of people in my database. So please, please, please let me be a source of information for you and a referral partner for you to refer anything you might need in life. Because I have an amazing database of people that I can refer you to. Again, you're offering value for value. Does that make sense? This is how we're going to get back to top of funnel and start talking to people we know and going deep into our databases, which is what is going to feed us in these coming months. And just remember your brains, when you start to see your brain go into fight, flight, freeze, or please, asking yourself, why? Where is this coming from? What am I afraid of? Is that 100% true? Interrogating the reality of what your brain is trying to tell you. Because fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. And we can stop it. And our results are a direct reflection of the choices that we choose to make. So, Tom, I hope that was beneficial.
Oh, that was awesome. So any questions while we have Brindley? Real quick, rapid fire. We've got time for one or two questions. Who's got one? Go ahead.
This is Renee Dunn again. I have a question. How do you start this conversation if you, let's say, have a box of business cards of people you've never met and you are starting from scratch?
So may I ask where the box of business cards came from? You mean your box of business cards?
Yes. So some of them are ones that I've collected. Some are people I've met at networking groups. Some are cards that somebody else gave me that was networking and has moved away.
Yeah. So Renee, I would just start calling, hey, how are you doing? And then have something of value that you can offer. If you have a CRM that sends out an equity report, if you do a newsletter, if you can send them a video of some information that might be helpful around real estate, a podcast that might be. So just start calling and asking how they're doing. The other thing that I suggest is making sure that every contact in your phone is in your database. And even the contacts, when you go through your phone, if you get to a name and you're like, I don't remember that person, call them anyway. And simply say, hi, Sarah, this is Brindley, and I'm actually calling to seek your forgiveness. And they're gonna say, either they're gonna hang up on you, which cool, you just deleted someone out of your phone that you don't need, they're just taking up space, right? Or they're gonna say why, and you're gonna say, well, I've made a commitment this year to clean up the contacts in my phone. And at one point in our lives, we were important enough to one another that you went into my phone. And I, for the life of me, cannot remember how we met. And you know what they're gonna say? I don't remember either. And then you're going to have a really good laugh and you're going to re-engage a Met and you're going to be able to put them into your database. Here's the other thing, guys. You do not have to sound like a used salesperson. Just call people and ask, how are you doing? And ask them how they feel about the real estate market right now. And that will tell you everything you need to know and any value, Trevor, that you need to send them. Because now you'll know what objections you're working with and you can isolate the objection. If you keep in touch on a regular basis, you don't even need to talk about real estate. They will know you're a realtor. And when they have a need, they will come to you. They're going to go to the person that's in front of them the most. Fred Said is an agent in Orange County. And I spoke at one of his events recently. And he had a mixed bag of realtors in the room, all different brokerages. They paid $99 to be in the room. And he stood up in front of 150 of his peers and said, if you're not calling your database, I am. And once I call them enough, they'll start coming to me instead of you because they're not hearing from you. And the energy in the room went, oh, he was like, well, wait a minute, don't get mad at me yet. Hear me out. We have on our team a task that we call every single person within a 20-mile, every homeowner within a 20-mile radius of our office every single month. So if they're not hearing from you, they're hearing from us. So my point is that if you're not calling your database, somebody else is. And when they're ready to buy or sell, they're going to call the person that's been in front of them the most.
Well, this is great. Brindley, if someone wants to reach out, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'll put my email in the chat, and then you can also follow me on social at Brindley Tucker on both Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome.
And then if you would like a free business consultation with someone from my team, you can go to ineedleverage.com. We basically just sit down with you for about 15 minutes and see what's going on in your business and if we can do anything to help with leverage or give you any advice.
Awesome. Awesome. This is great. Well, now we all got our inspiration. Time to put in a perspiration. Hey, don't forget, all of you that are in the Northern California area, we have Ricky Caruth. He is going to be live at the Placer County Association of Realtors next Thursday from 11 to 1. Plus there's lunch. Don't miss it. He's huge. So, hey, thanks, everyone. Thank you so much, Brindley. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Thanks,
Talk
Brindley.
soon. Thanks, Brindley.
Bye, guys.
Bye now.